It is Transformer Tuesday today. We have just finished the Transformers Hasbro Pulse Fanstream with all the new reveals, new pre-orders that gone up, new information about our Transformers Reactivate video game, as well as some small little details and updates to that Wave 1 of Studio series. So we're going to break it down here on the Transformers Slag podcast and pretty much list out all the information you need to know about this Fanstream today. So we got to see finally the official images in hand, everything like that, of our two Reactivate 2-packs. The Starscream and the Bumblebee, the Optimus Prime, and the Soundwave. Now, of course, if you've been following the podcast, we covered 3 of the 4 through different kind of leaks and stuff. But now we got the in-hand images. We finally get to see what that Soundwave looks like. We got the real packaging, not that prototype packaging that leaked out on Toys R Us Canada. So let's do this. So first up, all of these video game toys that we have with Transformers Reactivate, they were all designed by Lenny Penzika and Otaku-san. So they have a very kind of unique style and look to them. Mark mentioned how there's kind of this asymmetry painting that's going on with the design that's very rare within Transformers that they have. And again, it's really story-driven because of battle damage and being in the ruins of New York fighting against the Quintessons. There was a mention that, we even have a Starscream that has blue eyes, which might be story-related. We'll see. But very interesting kind of designs and stuff that they went with. Ben mentions that the Transformers Reactivate game is going to be a AAA title. So that's really reassuring, considering that the days of Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron, those amazing AAA games for Transformers were so long ago, and we had so much, mid-range to low-range stuff in between, and cell phone games, and all that kind of stuff, that it's nice to kind of return to that in a lot of ways. They mentioned that there is a website that you could go to, playtfr.com, where you could sign up for updates about the game and everything like that. The website itself does mention it is going to be on PC and consoles and is going to be happening in closed beta testing in 2023. Well, 2023 is pretty much almost wrapping up. So I don't know when those closed betas are going to be happening, but we don't have a release date just yet. But signing up at playtfr.com will at least get you in the know. So at least we don't know that much yet in terms of a release date and what consoles it'll be on. Mark and Evan mentioned, these figures, complex transformation, despite the fact that they're deluxes and a Voyagers, that they kind of go outside the traditional transformations of what you expect from like Bumblebees and Starscreams and stuff like that. The shots that they showed us, we'll start with the Starscream and the Bumblebee, but even with the Optimus and the Soundwave, it looks like, despite the fact that they're 2 different price points in a box, a Voyager and a Deluxe each, they look like they're the same size when you put them in robot mode. And I don't know if that's because the Deluxes, they stretch out their limbs, and when they're in their dynamic poses, everything is much more crunched down. But that's what it looks like. It's kind of funky when you really look at it, but maybe it's just the way the photos are and stuff, so it's kind of bizarre. Again, the correct packaging is now shown to us for the first time. It's going to be windowed packaging, so there will be a plastic across it. That's the new initiative that they're moving forward in 2024. Forget the environment. We got to worry about theft. Money over morals. That's always how it is in the end of the day. I think probably Amazon or Walmart, one of the big retailers, like, hey, stop that. We don't want our stuff getting stolen. So we talked about the Bumblebee, we talked about the Starscream, we talked about the Optimus. If you want a much more in-depth review of those, we actually have individual segments of them. Stuff that actually isn't even conveyed here in this live stream about, opening chest with the Matrix and everything. So go check those out on our podcast and our little queue of stuff. But we did get to see Soundwave properly now. And so he is this mobile vehicle kind of Soundwave. It's been done before. It goes all the way back to, even something like, dare I say, GoBots, the GoBots G2 Soundwave. Dare I say even Machine Wars. It goes really back, but this kind of more, SUV kind of Soundwave really stems first from animated and then became more prevalent in other stuff. And you need to have a mobile Soundwave when you have these video game things, because if you're going to play as him, you want to be able to go around. And even when we had the Transformers War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron games, you had a mobile Soundwave. The thing is, does he have an opening chest? They did not show that, but they also didn't show that Optimus has an opening chest with a Matrix, and we do know that's a fact. So we don't know if he has an opening chest, if he's going to have a storage compartment. We have seen some leaked out designs from the video game of Soundwave having a laser beak, so there is a possibility that he will have an opening chest. Maybe we'll get some cassette-like packs, and I'm using air quotes here, in the near future. So it does look good, though. I dig that his the end of his little gun has a missile that's very similar to that of his G1 Toys Chrome missile. So that's pretty cool. Looks nice. Again, has that weird asymmetry, battle damage, paint deco in certain areas. I still think the Optimus out of the 4 is the clear winner. It looks really, really good. With the Starscream being, probably a close second. Both Deluxes, the Soundwave and the Bumblebee, are not so much, but again, I have to probably mess with them in person and hold them and get an idea. But they look pretty good. But definitely the Optimus is the winner of the 4 thus far. So BMAC mentions here, so pre-orders drop at 1 p.m., which is right now as of this recording. And there will be a limited run of them, meaning they won't have a lot of them on the Hasbro Pulse website, so get them while you can, although you could order 3 at a time. So if it's something that's so limited, they probably should have done 1 per person. They also mentioned that it's going to be on Amazon as well as other fan retailers. So I think that the FOMO, I wouldn't worry too much about this. It's just something that on Hasbro Pulse, it'll be limited, but it will be available everywhere else. He says it should ship out by the time of Xmas or the holidays, but on the website, it says that it's going to be shipping out February 1st, 2024. So I don't know what the actual release date on this is. I'm going to go more with the website than that. Obviously, the Fanstream was pre-recorded, so probably new information has been updated since then. So probably February 1st, 2024 is when you're going to expect these, way after the holidays, way after New Year's. The price for these, this is the interesting one. So $62.99, $63, which is a little bizarre. Considering it's a Voyager and a Deluxe in that box. Now, Voyagers are $34.99, Deluxes are $24.99. If you do simple Proto-Man math, that's $59.98, a little bit under $60. Where do they get that extra $3 from? I don't know. Maybe that's putting that plastic window on the box back now. Is that the extra $3? Is it because the scale is kind of wonky with those Deluxes, where they could almost be Voyagers when they're stretched out? Maybe they're actually kind of covert Voyagers in a lot of ways, labeled as Deluxes. I do not know, but it is an extra $3 more than what normally we would be expecting from a Voyager and a Deluxe. And when you have 2 packs, usually you'd expect something that's actually cheaper than normally individual pricing, but that is not the case here. So again, looks cool. I dig it. I like the Optimus, looking really sweet. The Soundwave, now that we finally get to see it, pretty cool, but I want to get more info on that Soundwave. Not enough was explained about the little bells and whistles, let's put it that way. So hopefully we'll learn more. Again, playtfr.com, sign up for their mailing list, and you'll get updates on the game and the closed beta and all that stuff straight to your email. Go check that out from Hasbro Pulse. The last thing we're going to cover is just they had some little updates to the Studio Series 2024 Wave 1, little comments on all the different items, and they finally got to bring them out in person in hand, because BMAC did the reveal at London Comic-Con, but they didn't have the designers and stuff to really give the small details. So we'll just go over them quickly. So they talked about the concept art core class Rumble and how those CADs and designs of Rumble, as well as a bunch of other characters, were actually available in the Bumblebee movie archive of CG models, and it's not something that was made out of thin air. These existed, they just weren't used in the movie, and so that's what these things are based on. It was a Sam Smith and Yuya kind of design. They put it all together and made it happen. And this, according to Mark, or actually I think it was Evan that said it, this leads to a gateway to more unreleased characters, be it movie or even video game related movie stuff or anything like that. So that is quite fascinating. They also talked about that Deluxe Class Scorponok Studio Series Rise of the Beast, and why is it purple? I even mentioned this when I talked about it in my individual segment. Originally, when they got the CADs for designing these all a while back, they were shown Sandstorm colors and Double Punch colors, which would be interesting that they mention those, because those are... I'm curious which Sandstorm and which Double Punch. Are we talking Beast Wars Sandstorm and Double Punch? Or are we talking Double Punch, the Action Master Elite? I think he's mentioning more of the Beast Wars ones, which would have more of that purpley / blues and everything. And they kind of just settled on that color scheme. And then obviously when the movie came out, that was not the case. They had more like either they're red or they're blue. There wasn't like a purple in between. So pretty much, Evan's saying like, hey, maybe it was like a color wave that was in the background of the movie for your army building. So maybe we can consider it another concept art character. So now when they get it, if they do something wrong, if they do something wrong in Studio Series and say like, oh, hey, this was based off of early CAD stuff, you could just say, oh, this is concept art series now. So it is what it is. They also mentioned there was a Predacon emblem on the CAD, so that's pretty cool too. And then they made a joke about how, I think we're pretty much done a majority of the Rise of the Beast characters, although Stratosphere is absent of the Autobot side. But then they mentioned Unicron, like kind of in passing, and then BMAX, like, maybe in 10 years. So we'll see what happens with that one. Just a quick mention, the Wreck-Ar mold, the original and the current one, and of course talking about the junk heap here. And the junkyard and the scrap heap and the scrapyard and all of that. Those were all done by Kuniharu-san. And the only thing that they just wanted to update with this one is all of the stock images of scrap heap show a very dark brown face. The actual in-hand figure, and they had it there, is a light tanned kind of face that is much more uniform with your other Junkion. So that's pretty much the only update with that. They mention how with Gamer Edition stuff that all of the figures from Gamer Edition that are based on the War for Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron stuff, the weapons that come with those figures are actually based on the loadout that specific character would have when they start a mission. So if you like picked Optimus in the game or Starscream, the weapons that you would have when you load out before you pick up anything in a level or mission, that's what the weapons would be that the character comes with. So that's a nice little cue there. And then they also said it's safe to say that you're going to see more repaints from that Starscream Seeker mold from the War of Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron Gamer Edition. So stay tuned with that. No surprise with that one. And the last one, just the leader Megatron. They wanted to point out that because it's a leader class, it's going to have articulated fingers, amazing articulation. The CAD was also something that existed and was going to be in the film but wasn't used at the last moment. They even made some jokes about what is continuity anyways? Are the movies even connected? Is Megatron supposed to be in Hoover Dam or Frozen in Ice? So that was kind of funny. They also mentioned that Sam Smith and Yuya kind of based the Triple Changer concept off of the fact of Marauder Megatron from Transformers Animated, which was also a canceled Megatron toy that was supposed to come out during Animated Season 4 and stuff. So they kind of like channeled that, which is pretty cool. I also feel it's a little bit of, he had a flight mode, Cybertronian flight mode in 2007 movie, he had a tank mode in 2009's Revenge of the Fallen. So it's kind of also a meeting of the two of those in a lot of ways. So yeah, pretty cool. And then the last thing that they just wanted to say is December, they're going to be also having another stream. But it's going to be more of a fun stream this time. I'm pretty sure they'll still show off stuff, but it's going to be more of a fun stream. They want to talk about like kind of their favorite stuff throughout the year and everything. It's something that they were inspired by the G.I. Joe crew. And so they're going to do something like that in December. We don't have a date yet, but when we know it, trust me, we will talk about it here on the podcast and let you guys know so you can mark it down on your calendars. I'm pretty sure they'll show off stuff too. They won't let that slide. But yeah, that's it more or less. So pretty interesting stream. Again, pre-orders are up right now on Hasbro Pulse, Amazon, and some other related fan retail websites. Go check those out right now if you are interested. And that's it more or less for Transformer Tuesday. Thank you for listening here on the Transformer Slag podcast and keeping you educated, entertained, and informed on what's going on here in the Transformer world. And thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again in the near future.